everyone, this is Anne from Odulcina Scrap. This is where I am right now. So I've created that kind of cover, added that beautiful Crafty Me Shop lace. Look at how gorgeous it is. You can just not beat that. And it's an exclusivity from her, so you go in her shop if you want to grab some before she's out of that stock, because I wonder for how long she'll have some of those CMS laces. Anyway, I did a little raffle here with my Odulcina tiny flowers fabric, some seam binding, and a lace that I found at the thrift store that I washed and dried, and it all curled, and I just glued it like that, which is great. I love it. I added a Tim Holtz, I don't know how it's called, but I just created a hole. You open it up and it holds like that. So, and because it's between fabric, it's going to be secure, and I'm going to put a tassel there, attach a tassel eventually. So now what I have here is I have my two signatures that will be in between that doily that I trimmed and cut to size. But now, if I want to attach the signatures to the book, I need to do kind of a spine here that I'm going to attach the two signature equally distance in that space, and then I'm going to glue the two sides of it. So it's going to be a floating signature, which I find is the easiest to do, and it's the best as well, because when it's floating, you can literally open every pages flat wherever you are in the journal. So I'm going to show you how I do that. First, I'm grabbing a box that I received from Amazon with the shipping, and I'll just eyeball. I need to leave a little gap between the signature, well, the spine and the sides, because I want some movement. So I'm gonna eyeball that my piece will be that size, about that, and I'll have the same size in the book, so I need to trim here and there, here and here. All right, so this will be my piece here, and I need to put a piece of fabric here to cover it so it's looking good, and that piece of fabric needs to be that large so I can glue the two sides here. I'm gonna use the same fabric I used for the cover, the other side here. I love that cotton that I bought years ago, so don't ask me where and how it's called. I don't remember, because otherwise I would buy a bunch of it. I just love it, because once I've put it into my washing machine and dryer, look at all the folds it did. It's kind of a cotton, but how can I get the same kind of cotton? This is the challenge. So I'm just eyeballing and trimming, and that's it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue it in the middle. I really love using the Fabri-Tac glue. It's not bulky, and you still have movements. Like if you didn't glue it perfectly straight, you can still move around your fabric. All right, that should look good, and I should be able to glue it on both sides when I'm ready, which will be later on. Maybe I should have put some fabric to hide kind of this piece here. I'm gonna do that because before the glue is too dry, I'm gonna add some fabric. I would think that after so many junk journals, I wouldn't do that kind of mistake. But I showed you in this video because if you're a beginner, that gives you an idea. You're not done with mistakes. But the beauty with junk journals is that there's no mistakes and you can always fix it. So I didn't like to see the cardboard, and I just glued a little piece of cotton at both ends, and that's it. Nobody will know. All right, so I did a better finishing. So when I'll look at the book this way, I won't see any cardstock. It's gonna be all vanilla. So this is good. I now have to figure out within that my two signatures. I have created a template equally distanced, so I can use three holes or 5 holes and decide whatever I want. So I just need to put it in the middle. It's not as long, but I can just by eyeballing put it in the middle, and I need to be somewhere there. So I'm thinking if I put side to side here, I can do little holes here. Okay, not taking my time. Let's put it down and do it the good way. Does it look good? Okay, so I know where to put my holes, and I can flip it this way and do the same thing. Align it with the sides. And because it's going to be a hidden spine and a floating spine, even if they're not 100% aligned, it doesn't really matter. But we can see that they're going to be equally distanced except in the middle. And in the middle, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add something else. Not a full signature, but what about, let's say, a file folder to put stuff there. So I'm going to do some holes so I can attach the file folder, which gonna kind of be the in-between. So I'm keeping my template for later, and this is what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna use my crocodile to kind of do my holes there. Okay, so I'm good to go with attaching my signatures pretty soon. I'm gonna use the same template to draw my I'm gonna draw right in the middle so I can see through the holes. I can see the fold. Maybe you cannot see it on camera, but I'll just align it in the middle, and then I can just do my little holes like that. So when I'll be ready, I guess I didn't take the good page. Well, they're gonna be this way. When I'll be ready, I'll have my holes pre pre-designed. Okay, so I'll do the same for that. And I just need to do my file folder, which I have a bunch among my digital kits, so I don't have any printed now that I recall, so I'll print one and I'll come back. In the meantime, I have created the holes in my fabric doily with the crocodile again, and I am now ready to attach everything together. So I'm removing the cover of the journal, and now I'm going to place my two signatures with the file folder that I printed, trimmed, inked, and it will be in the middle of the two signatures, and it's going to act like a pocket. So I always use paper clips to hold my signatures paper together. When I started, I was using 4 paper clips. Now I use just one. It depends my signature. This one is straightforward. I only have full-size papers, but if I have lots of in-between pages, I would definitively use more than one paper clip just to make sure everything stays together and stays aligned. Then I use the big dictionary to create my holes in the crease of the dictionary that is opened in the middle. It really helps aligning the paper into the fold when you punch the holes. And I'm using cotton flat waxed thread. So the wax is really important. Either you wax yourself with a little piece of wax, or you buy those threads that are already waxed for you. There's a bunch of on Amazon. I can put the link in the description below. The wax will help you to create the knots without creating any loose into your thread between the two knots. And why you want a flat thread is you don't want the knots to open easily. When the thread is rounded, it doesn't hold. The knots that you create always get loosened. So you want a flat and a wax thread. For a 5-hole signatures like I'm doing right now, it's not really complicated. If you want to see the ends of the threads in the middle of your signature, you're going to start by the middle inside. Otherwise, if you want to hide the threads, the end of the threads, you start by the spine level outside of the signature, like I did. And you just move around the holes. You can look carefully how I move around and mimic that, but the order is not so important as long as at the end you've been going through all the holes. The most important thing, like you saw me doing a couple times if you watch carefully, is that when you go a second time into the same hole where you already had passed once with the thread, you need to make sure that you're not passing the second thread into your initial thread. If it's the case, I remove my needle, remove the thread from passing through the other thread, and put back the needle and keep going on like this. Because if you don't remove the thread from passing through the other thread, you won't be able to put a good tension because it creates restrictions and it doesn't allow the thread to move correctly when you put the final tension like I'm going to do right now. So you remove the paper clip when everything has been gone through all the holes, and then you kind of Allow a good tension everywhere. You remove any looseness. And at the end, when your tension is good everywhere, you create 2 or 3 knots. And as you can see with the wax thread, I could create my knots without having to hold my knot with my finger. And I'll keep going on like that. I'm gonna attach my file folder in the middle, following the template that I draw on it. And at the end, I have my 2 signatures with the file folder attached to that floating spine. And I just need to glue the extension of the spine, the fabric, to the cover. So that's all I need to do. Again, I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac glue, which is my favorite to glue fabric on paper when I want it to be very, very strong, strongly glued. And I prefer that for the finishing. Let's say it's inside the junk journal. So if I would be using the hot glue, it would be I would need to go inch by inch so it's not bulky. And in that case, I prefer the Fabri-Tac. But any glue works, right? It's always a matter, do you want to take the risk that the glue show through the fabric? Do you want to take the risk that it's bulky a little bit? The cost of the glue, whatever you have in ends. Only for that step when I'm attaching a floating spine to the cover, I'm gonna let it dry like that. So after it's been dried, I came back. I allowed at least 15 minutes just because I don't want to allow it to move or to not be securely glued when I start playing inside the journal. I don't want the spine to move at all. So I just wait for it to be very dry. And as you can see, in between my signatures, I decided that I wanted to hide the fabric, and I've used that cotton frizzy yarns. I have some in my Etsy shop in my bundles. I love that. And it is soft enough. It is all frizzy, so it hides the little holes that we can see in the fabric because the holes were punched with my crocodile, so they were a little bit bigger than what they should have been. But this trim, this frizzy yarn is hiding everything, and I just love it. So I've used that. Here in the inside of the cover, I didn't decorate yet. I'm gonna probably add some lace or whatsoever. But right now, I want to fix that doily that when I close the book, it's not hanging straight. So my fix for that was to glue it to the first page. And now when I'm gonna close the book, it will be all aligned correctly. And it's gonna give a structure because that first page, which is now a fabric, needs to hold well. Compared to the last page, which is still the fabric, it stays in place and it doesn't bother at all. But my finishing is not done, and I just wanted to play a little bit with my cover. So I've created that big card, which is from my kit inventory and sample cards, and I've used one of my fabric, which is the gazebos. So you have lots of choices. So I just picked one. I trimmed it to size. I added embroidery knots on it, and I've created that other card with the fussy cut little girl. And don't worry, what I'm gonna do is in a coming video, I'm gonna create more of those similar to that to show you the process and play along with because it's really cute. I really love doing layers like that, and I'm gonna do a video by itself for that. For now, we're gonna go with creating the tassel, and I'm gonna use one of my bundles that I have for tassel. It's my fancy yarns in length of 15, 16 inches, and they are folded into two, attached with a yarn. So, how you do that if you don't want to be all messy with that bundle is when you open the package, you find the middle with the string, and then you unfold everything. And why I've created those bundles is to have a cheaper cost for shipping, especially for Canada and international, as well as you can add that item to any other order and it should not impact the shipping cost. So you find the string in the middle, right? It attached, don't remove it. And this is the middle of it. And then when you want to grab the yarns or chiffon, silk, whatever, you hold with a hand in the middle and you just pull on whatever yarn you want. So this way you don't make the bundle becoming really like all messed up together, because if you don't hold with a hand the bundle, and if you pull on a string, it's gonna pull like the others with it, and you're gonna create like a big mess and knots, and you're gonna hate that bundle actually. But if you do like I'm doing, it goes very, very well. In each bundle, you have a couple of each type of yarn. So out of the bundle, you can create a couple of tassels, and you can mix them with any other things you have at home. I just wanted to create a bundle that people that do not have a big inventory, they start with, and they like the product that I'm using, they can have that little bundle and play with it and have a couple of choices. You can do little bows too with that. The length is kind of perfect for tassels and bows and to use in your creations. So it allows you to have a lot of choices without having a big inventory of each. And because it's flat as a package, it's really less expensive for the shipping compared to the fancy yarns that I have rolled around the wood pegs. So I look at my tassel, I fold it into two, and I look to see if I want it to be a little bit more bulky or not, if I want to add a little bit more or not. And this is how it goes. At the end, I grabbed one that is cotton, but that could be any string that you have too. I attached it at the in the middle, and now look at that. I can take the bundle by the string in the middle and I can hang it anywhere in my craft room. It looks gorgeous and they won't become all mixed up and messy. Ready to go for my next creation. So because I had that Tim Holtz brad that has like a hook for a tassel, I think it's made exactly for a tassel. I just need to use my cotton string, pass through, add two knots, and here you go. The tassel is attached. So it's a very, very easy way to attach a tassel if you have that kind of brad with the hook. And the only thing is, I don't love it personally when the tassel just starts like that and it's kind of bulky, but at the top it's not bulky. So I wanted to add a flower. These are the fabric flowers that I did in a previous tutorial. So if you missed that or you come along that video in a couple of months or years, I'm going to put the link in the description below for the tutorial on how to do those flowers. So I had a couple of flowers done because I just did that tutorial recently. So I was looking which one I want to use. And the flower is just perfect for that. You're going to see when I'm going to show you the side of the cover at the end. So what I need to do, because there's that metal hook, I can just sew or and sew around it the flower to the from the outside to the inside of the ring. So I'll just do a couple of stitches and knots with a regular sewing thread, and this will secure everything. It doesn't need to be that strong. I mean, this is not for kids, so I guess 7 or 8 stitches, and that would be it. It's really just to attach the flower to that hook, so it will decorate well the tassel. So this is my style. I mean, you can just do the tassel and it can stop there, but you're gonna see I always add something at the top of my tassels. I don't love the gap otherwise. Look at that now. It feels like it's completed when you look at the book from the side view. It's all completed. There's no flat space. But anyway, I might add more to that cover, but for now, this is where I am at. And just to finish that video, because it starts to be a little bit long in length, I'm showing you the embroideries that I've added, that little flower pot on the table, and just some French knots to mimic some pink roses around the gazebo. So it's pretty simple, it's very basic. If you're new to my channel, look at my playlists. I have a whole playlist showing you the basic embroidery stitches that I'm using over and over. There's not that much, and it is simple. So if it's something that you love and it appeals you, I encourage you to learn how to do embroidery stitches. It's really, really useful and simple, even if it looks complicated. So for now, I'll just use one of those cute polka dot sari silk. By the way, I have new bundles in my shop. This doesn't include this one though, they are different. But if you love polka dot, I have a collection that I had made for me. I sent my design in India, and they created the sari silk with polka dots for me. Watch that in my shop. And for now, I'm gonna say thanks for watching, and I'll keep going on with that journal in my coming video. Bye bye.